What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, I know, but we're back here testing out the Freedom Rocket. I actually was gonna wait until I got some of the new parts for the car to come back and test it, but I figured it was such a nice day that I couldn't pass it up, so I came to test it too today. Anyways, decided to come to Cecil County today just to do some testing. Like I said, I'm still waiting for a lot of the suspension parts needed to be able to launch the car at full power. So we're still going to be doing some soft launches today, but it is a nice day. Maybe I'll dip into the 8s, and if I do, that's good, because once I get the suspension stuff, we'll be able to really leave hard and go even faster.
He said hard.
Where's your POS at? Are you going to take the stock blower record here today on the ZL1, the 6th gen ZL1?
Probably not.
Andrew's going for it?
Yeah, probably not going to make it today.
What do you have to beat a 9.5?
950 now. Yeah, so.
Matt's here. What's up? Matt's going to take the 4th gen stock tire record today.
I don't think that exists.
But hey.
The 4th gen with that decal on the roof record.
It's always good to make some micro records.
Yeah. Records within records.
Participation trophies.
Somebody oiled down the end of the track, so we're just like chilling out, waiting. Nick wanted to get here early, but didn't want to start early. It's his fault.
Yeah, okay. I also waited an hour for Andrew to get here.
No, I was. Well, you might have been here, but the lanes didn't really open till like 5 minutes after I got here. I was here at like 9:05. Is it 9:05? I think it was 9:05.
Looks like they're finally starting. I did my best 60 foot, which was kind of cool on a soft launch. 132, not bad, huh? Best 330, best 8, or maybe, I'm not sure. I think I did a 575, my 8.9 pass. So yeah, dang. So the DA is, what is it?
I think it's 17 right now.
DA is, oh my God, yeah. When I got here, the DA was 500. Now it's 1700. All right, let the car cool off. I'm gonna rev it out a little more. 132.
Probably give it a little bit more. Yeah.
I might be able to, yeah. I might be able to give it a little more on the hit. We'll see. No throttle. Nothing. No throttle.
Power on. Do it again. Again.
Dude, are people behind me waiting?
No.
No.
No, I think they're stopping for lunch.
How is this battery dead now? It's fully charged. Just get mine. Don't worry about that. Tell him don't worry. I have a jump box.
Your camera's still on.
That's all right. It don't matter. For some reason, the throttle body is like stuck in the default position, which is like 2,500 RPM, somewhere around there. We tried resetting it, so we're gonna try to figure that issue out as well. It's always something.
I don't
We have
think
a
the
lot
battery has enough cold cranking amps to be able to like fucking run all this shit. I think that's what's killing us here. Because we've replaced everything else. We replaced the alternator. We replaced like the battery has voltage, but it's not enough voltage. Like changing the battery to a more conventional battery needs a battery box. That's different than what, like the mounting thing that you have. The type of battery that the Optima is doesn't need like its own battery box. It can just mount there.
Yeah, right. Where the factory battery was is now where the ice tank and fuel cell is. So we had to relocate the battery kind of more up front into the trunk. But see, the thing is, like, even when it starts, the car still, voltage goes down. I mean, you start at like 14.1, 14.2, start turning on shit, cranking the key on, then all of a sudden it's 13.6, and then sitting in the staging lanes with the car on until I get to the burnout box, it's like 13.0, 13.1. I make my pass, it's okay, then I get back into the return lane, it's now back to 13.6. Now coming back here, trying to start the car up again, it didn't start. We have changed out the alternator. It literally should be double of what the factory alternator puts out. So, but I don't see that happening because
it's got to be this battery's not capable of delivering what we need it to.
But what I'm getting at is if you can jump start the car, the alternator should keep the car running, and it's still losing charge. It's losing voltage when it's idling. When it's going, it's losing voltage. We ran one pass. I mean, I was pretty happy with it, especially considering the conditions that we're in right now.
He's trying to say
This is
that generator is running better than this right now.
Yeah. At least I can start the generator. Unfortunately, this is the stuff that you don't really see between videos, during the cutscenes, when the stuff that I edit out. Well, I'm not going to edit this out.
Yeah.
This is the truth of racing.
No, that's what racing is. Test and tune.
It is.
Like we're not there yet. We're close.
What percentage of cars do you guys build come out the gate running perfect?
Nobody's
All
car
of them
does
except
that.
his.
Well, yeah. Nobody's car.
But like
Most
no,
projects all have their own issues.
the big projects, the custom one-off things like this, like a lot of times will need tweaking, and that's just what happens. You know, sometimes the issue, there's an underlying issue that's just not obvious. It's just not obvious whatsoever, and sometimes it takes a while to get to. That's why, like, when you have one of those weird issues, like you go to a dealership and they just start throwing parts at it. Like, here's a part, here's a part, here's a part, here's a part, and then eventually you have a $2,000 bill for a 50-cent fuse, and it's like, wait, what? That's kind of here. There's no instruction manual. There's no like TSB, the technical service bulletin, saying, hey, look right here, this is what your issue is, because there's nothing on this that's stock.
And there's also guys build cars with a proven setup. I didn't want a setup that everybody has, everybody's done. I don't want a proven setup that like I can just go out and
We want an unproven
buy
setup.
a 30-year-old car and put some stock 5.3 in it and put whatever the hell. I don't want to do that. Like I do enjoy. Yeah, this is my car. This is this car I first bought, and the journey has been like this with it. But at least it's been a journey. I can say that, you know.
I always tell people I'm living the dream, but sometimes the dream's a nightmare. That's the truth.
Is this real life or is this the dream? Maybe our dreams are real life. Maybe when we go to sleep, that is real life.
I thought you were about to start singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Is this the real life? If I do, I'll get demonetized if I sing that too much.
Yeah, because you sound so much like Queen.
I know, I do. I have angelic vocals.
So you guys, this is the truth of racing. It almost never goes to plan.
Never. So, like, I could have probably, like, built this car over time and done, like, 2 videos of it. You'd be like, oh, we're building the car. And then the next video is like, oh, look, we're at the track and we made our 8.5 quarter-mile pass. Okay, cool. What I would have failed to show you was this kind of stuff and all the times I spent at the track trying to dial the car in and experience issues. So, they're on lunch break right now. The other car, the turbo car, the transmission was actually in the shop for about 2 weeks now because we had some issues getting the clutch packs to fit. The clearances were off. We had them machined down, and now they do fit in the transmission, so that's good. Those are in. And I'm just waiting on a new converter from Circle D, which should be here, I'd say Monday, the beginning of this week. If not Tuesday, and I have a roll race event at Pocono Raceway, Slipstream Racing. I'm going to that with a turbo car, and that's for Saturday. I'm sorry, no, Sunday, the 15th. That car will be there. Hopefully, everything will be working out right. But you know, there again, that car is pretty much new with brand new parts in it. Like the converter that's getting the Circle D converter, that's brand new, and they Circle D actually wants us to send data back to them, which is kind of cool. So they hooked me up with one of them, and we're gonna see how that works out.
I think the biggest takeaway is don't get discouraged if things aren't going right.
No, there's always gonna be something though. That's the funny part. Like, there's always something. A lot of times though, if something's running perfect, you're like, wait,
What's gonna break?
yeah, what's gonna happen here? All right, so we got the car running.
The pedal position is reading 0 now.
Now it is? Okay.
That's what was going on.
The pedal positioning was reading what?
It was reading above 7.
How did it do that though? Why did it change?
I don't know. Because that's like a fixed kind of deal.
Alrighty, so unfortunately the throttle pedal is having some weird issues. We think there might be something wrong with it. Trying to diagnose that issue right now, but what happened was we had to reset the basically 0% position on the throttle because it was at like 7. And that was causing the RPM to stay at like 1500 RPM, and I wasn't even on the throttle. So once that was reset to 0, we were good, but then I started the car and drove it over in the staging lanes, and it just didn't feel right. Like I could push the throttle down like 10 or 15%, maybe like 10%, and nothing was happening. The RPM wasn't going up, nothing. Past that, it was working. So I went and obviously made a pass, but launched the car, ended up spinning, pedaled the car, got back in it, was about to make almost a full pass until literally the throttle body just closed. It was like I let off the throttle, but I didn't. So again, something happened to the throttle pedal, and it just essentially closed the throttle body to idle, and then I just coasted the rest of the track. When I ran down the shutdown area, and I turned there and got my time slip, I had nothing on the throttle. All the way to the floor, nothing. The car wasn't doing nothing. So we had to reset it again, so I was able to drive it back here to the trailer, but something is wrong with that pedal, we think. Maybe it's going bad, I don't know. It is an electronic throttle pedal, so maybe it's just going bad.
I think there's something up with the throttle pedal.
So I was able to make a third pass with the car. We believe we did get the throttle worked out. We ended up resetting it again, and it seemed to be working out okay. However, since it was the end of the day, the track really wasn't sticky anymore. They weren't going to re-prep, obviously, so Andrew ended up putting me out of the grooves into a stickier part of the track just for the 60-foot, which worked out well on the 60-foot. It ran a 137 this time, but I got out of the grooves then, right out of the 60-foot, and ended up spinning. So it really didn't do me any good for a quarter-mile time. But like I said, I believe we do have the throttle pedal issue worked out. I don't know whether it had to do with the lower voltage we were experiencing, that issue. I've experienced something like that before, not on a car, But if you look behind me here, this particular amp I used when I played with my band. And when we would play venues or maybe even some house parties or private parties that had lower voltage, so normal voltage is like around 120 is where you want to see it. I have a voltage meter on my rack. I have a power rack, and it reads out the exact voltage that whatever outlet's putting out. So like when I'd plug in and I'd see like 120, 121, great, that's what it's supposed to be. But if it would say something like 113, 112, that's a little low, and that's when the amp would start acting up. It would actually, I could hear the difference, like it just wouldn't sound as good. It'd sound weird, it'd sound muddy, and the foot switch that switches between the clean channel, the ultra channel, the crunch channel, it would like malfunction, and I had to play around with it, like fumble around with it until it worked. So low voltage does do some damage, or I shouldn't say damage, but it does mess with a lot of the electronic stuff. So that may have something to do with it. It's weird that it would be the throttle pedal. You think if it wasn't working, it would just stop working, and that would be that. It seems that when we reset it, it's fine. I do have some suspension parts coming for the car, which is going to allow me to leave a lot harder under full power, so I don't have to keep doing soft launches. The IRS on the car is very loose. It can be inconsistent, and you want to be able to tighten that rear end up as much as possible so you can be, one, more consistent, and the car doesn't squat as hard, and then what happens is it pretty much bottoms out and then unloads, and then all the weight transfer that went to the rear now goes to the front, and you lose traction. So that's what's happening when I really launch the car hard. If I launch it soft like I have been doing, the first pass that you guys saw, the car will sit back, and then I can go full into the throttle, and then it'll stay back. But if I hit the throttle hard right off the hit, it pops back too hard, bottoms out, and then unloads, and I end up spinning. So the suspension I'm getting should solve that issue. So when I do make the hit under full power, it'll pop back, but it'll stay there. Those parts should be in this week, which is good. Update on the twin turbo ZL1. The transmission is back together. The new converter from Circle D is here. Actually, I'm doing this outro here a few days after I went to the track. Between then and now, the converter has arrived, the transmission's back together. And what we plan on doing from there is we're gonna obviously test it out, make sure the transmission functions properly with the new clutch packs, it shifts properly, and then it's gonna go on the dyno. We're gonna do a test pull in 7th gear to see if it holds. If it does hold, then it's time to turn it up. We believe it can take a lot more on 93 pump gas only. So we're gonna pretty much turn it up as much as we can until we find the limits of that. And then maybe I'll go E85. The car's probably gonna need different injectors and so forth. But for now, we're gonna keep it 93 octane and see how much power we can make, because I have a roll race coming up. It's at the Pocono Raceway, Slipstream Roll Racing events. So that is again September 15th, this Sunday. The car will be there as long as, hopefully, fingers crossed, that everything works out okay with the transmission. I know this video wasn't a lot of cool action stuff. The car didn't really make much progress, but these are the things that happen when you're trying to build a race car. And now I have another car, the street car, that there's things that could happen with that too. You know, everything's new in that car, so it's just really a testing phase. And I wish I could be there and do it every single day. I wish I could make progress every day, but I can't. You guys obviously know that I work a day job other than this. In my spare time is when I can work on the cars, get the cars to the track and so forth. This day and age, or I should say really this generation, is so used to instant gratification, which is like, I want something now, and if I don't get it now, then I'm moving on to the next thing. They're kind of used to that, and that's just not really how it is. It takes time to do this stuff, you know? There's gonna be ups and downs, but then when you finally get everything together, everything works out, and everything's running smooth, you can look back on it, you can look back on the journey, and just the gratification at that point is much better and totally outweighs the instant gratification you may get if you got everything done the first time. So that about does it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are coming here and watching me for the first time. And as always, have a great day.